Well, good evening, everybody. Darren Saul here, your host of Playing with Perspective, the Suspended Animation podcast. It's Monday evening over here in Sydney, but is it Sunday morning or Monday morning over there in the UK?
Monday morning here.
Monday morning in the UK. Episode 122, and I've got the legendary Tom Griffiths here. How you doing, Tom?
Hey, Darren. I'm well, thank you. How are you?
Very well, mate. Thanks for joining me all the way from the other side of the world. And for everybody out there, we're going to be talking about social media, but in particular, why likes and shares are dead. I love it because I'm a social media guy myself, and I'm fascinated by social media engagement. And I'm very much looking forward to hearing what Tom has to say about, measuring and really understanding engagement of social media. And he's got a different spin on things, which will hopefully give us loads of great insights and loads of great ideas. But before I jump in, let me introduce Tom. So Tom is the Director of Business Development at talkAItive and the partner of Analytics Lab. He's an experienced startup business developer, raising funds for startups and growing MVPs into revenue-generating businesses. Tom has a strong interest in AI and its power to transform business and giving early adopters the opportunity to become industry leaders. So welcome, Tom Griffiths. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm well, thank you. Thanks for having me, Darren.
Thanks, mate. So, Tom, tell us a bit about how you got into this line of work.
Yeah, so I started I left school at sort of 17. Yep. Started selling by doing door-to-door sales.
All right.
Signing up people for charities.
Nice.
And that's kind of a good uphill learning curve, I'd say, in terms of getting good sales experience.
Definitely.
And then from there, I went into ad sales.
Yep.
And sort of when I went into ad sales in sort of 2013, 2014,
yep.
That was kind of where social media was sort of becoming a bigger part of how people connected, and obviously sort of advertising through your Facebooks and Twitters and other social platforms. So that's, I guess, kind of my professional kind of start of life has always had social media at its heart, really, as a way to connect with customers.
Yep.
So very much for me, I've always grown up selling some form of social advertising.
Wow.
And then from that, I got into some really good startups, really exciting startups. And recently, I've come on board with talkAItive.
Yep.
To really sort of help grow their revenue side and their business development strategy, because they're a great bunch of really good developers and data scientists. So just came in to sort of help them get the message out there, I guess, of the power of using AI and sentiment and emotional analysis to kind of understand clients better.
I love that. I love the way you put that sentiment, trying to use sentiment to understand clients better, because, that's something that's not that easy to measure, but I suppose we're going to get into how you measure that, which is fascinating. Before we jump in, I thought let's just take a high level approach for a second and kind of just get a sense of setting the stage for everybody in terms of, what we're going to be talking about. So social media, everybody's engaged on social media more than ever before, particularly in this period over the last 6 to 9 months. I've seen social media just go crazy, and it's just stronger and stronger every day. But it is very easy to fall into the trap of looking at the comments and looking at the likes and looking at how many people watched your video and thinking that everything's going fantastic, everything's hunky-dory. Quantity versus quality in a way. So what's your insight into why we fall into that trap? Is it because we don't know any other way to measure it, or is it there's some other reason?
Yeah, I think genuinely because the tool hasn't been there.
Yeah.
And also the likes of Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, they all give you, anybody can have access to those analytics of how many likes, shares, impressions, etc. For free.
Yeah.
And then you've sort of got your more advanced tools from, say, your Hootsuite or Sprout Socials,
Yep.
who can then give you sort of a bit more of an in-depth look in terms of geographies, gender, age range, etc. But there's never really been a tool out there that can look at the comments. And it's very easy to sort of to retweet or share or even like we've all done it. We've all been scrolling and accidentally liked something. Yeah. So it doesn't necessarily mean that, you know, you're engaged with that tweet. It's just that you're heavy thumbed maybe.
Yeah.
Rather than like actually comment and go out of your way.
Yeah.
To comment on a specific post or to reply to someone's tweet. In a way, it takes effort, I guess. It's not a huge amount of effort, but it takes effort. I'm sure you've done it as well, Darren, where you've started to reply to someone and just be like, I can't be bothered.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely.
And then you don't press send or you don't press tweet. So to actually go out of your way to speak to a company or to speak to an influencer who is being paid through an ad or through a spond to create that post, in a way takes effort and takes a willing for that person to think, yeah, my opinion matters on this. Yeah. For that person to think, yes, I want to engage. Yeah. So yes, that's kind of why we've been very much focused on the likes and shares as opposed to what people are saying underneath. There hasn't really been a tool out there.
Okay. Well, that kind of brings us to where we are now. So tell us a bit about talkAItive and, you know, and how you analyze sentiment in social media.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're an AI-based company, talkAItive with an AI in the middle. Great branding. So what we do is we're able to use NLP, which is natural language processing, not the NLP that business and as we had the conversation earlier. So we use natural language processing, which is a form of AI, which is able to understand the language of which people use. So we're able to take a thread of tweets or comments or a thread from somewhere like a Reddit or a forum and really analyze the language that people are using and understand if people are feeling positive, neutral, or negative towards that particular issue. So if we take, for example, it might not be a particular product. It could be a news story where someone's been, where a particular company might have done something that the news or the media has perceived as not particularly great ethically or environmentally. You can then understand what the clients are saying towards, or the customers of that business are saying towards them. And it can help them sort of understand what rebuttals to use and how to get them back on side. But equally, it can show them what people are enjoying about the product. If we take clothing, for example, sort of take jeans from like a big clothing brand, you know, different sizes and different fits are always going to be a problem for them to make sure that, you know, their customers are getting the best use of the product. So what that's able to tell them is, by taking the data from the comment section underneath, is being able to let them know what they're enjoying about the fit, what could be improved on, and really help them build that way.
Gotcha. So, I mean, so how do you define sentiment? I mean, what's sentiment to you guys? How do you measure, like, what do you look for to try and, characterize sentiment and measure it?
Sure. So the R&D side of talkAItive took about 2.5, 3 years.
Wow.
And it's very much about building up the ML or the machine learning, so that we've put enough test sets, essentially data telling the AI what certain things are, so that it's got such a vast memory now, and such an ability to discern sentiment, whether it's positive, neutral, or negative, on a scale of 1 to -1. Okay. And it's its ability then to quickly match the data that's coming through from the new comments that we're taking on board.
Gotcha. Nice. And do you like? Obviously, when you program this, it took 3 years, as you say, of R&D to work out how to measure it. Tell us a bit about how the AI and the NLP fit in. Like, how do they? NLP is the language of AI, is it?
So NLP is a form of AI. So it's a form of artificial intelligence.
Gotcha.
So it's essentially it has many purposes. I guess its most basic is predictive texting.
Uh-huh.
It's being able to know sort of the words that have come before it to form that sentence. It doesn't always get it right, as I'm sure you've experienced yourself.
Yeah, oh yeah, it frustrates me sometimes. Frustrates me.
But certainly it's growing and growing, and the power that we have behind it is it's pretty incredible, sort of what it's able to do now from where we first started on T9s on Nokia 3310s.
Ah, wait, my God. And are you finding it's being very well received in the marketplace? What's your feedback?
Yeah, certainly. It's definitely getting the understanding across because it's such a new tool.
Yeah.
And we find that a lot of companies are maybe a bit comfortable just using likes and shares. So it's really being able to get the message across that, look, this is going beneath sort of the top level of you rating how well a post is doing by how many likes it's got through its engagement, when what you really need to know is what those people are telling you underneath.
Oh,
and what the comments are saying about it.
Absolutely. I mean, we can all make comments, we can all like things and share things, but might not mean that we're ever going to engage or buy anything. And
yeah, absolutely.
And so much so, like when Facebook does its its targeting on a lot of the targeting ads, the ads manager behind Facebook, for example, there's so many different categories, and they can choose whether they want to put your post or your ad in front of people that are more likely to click, more likely to buy, more likely to just like. So they have all that analytics already in a way. And this just goes further than that.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's kind of a more in-depth view. And going back to sort of setting up your Facebook ads, your Google ads, or your Twitter ads, through being able to extract the language and the wording used, it actually enables companies that we work with to then choose better and more accurate keywords, which saves them on cost, which is a great thing, but also resonates with the exact audience that they want to resonate with by using the exact same language and using the exact same wording that their audience needs.
I was just about to ask you about that. I mean, the copy is so important. So does it give you suggestions as to what copy you should use, or how does that work?
Yeah, so we can certainly help in terms of what copy they should use, but we can frame it to show the keywords that people are using. So just by using or changing a couple of words can really sort of increase the engagement levels from the customer.
Wow. Okay.
Just by sort of mirroring the language that they use.
Okay. Have you got any stories or case studies to give us, obviously confidential, but giving us some ideas as to how people might be starting to use this and get some benefit out of it?
Absolutely. So we worked with quite a large online retailer here and fashion brand.
Yep, nice.
A fast fashion brand over in the UK, and they were getting they're very reliant on social media. They use a lot of influencers to get their message across.
Yep.
And they were, like most companies, they were kind of thinking that everything was going well because they were getting likes, shares, retweets, etc.
Yep.
And then when we came in and did some initial research for them, they were like, yeah, we get loads and loads of comments. We think most of them are positive. We get loads of likes, etc. And then once we delved into their comments, we could actually find out that the majority of the comments they were getting were people complaining about their orders.
No way.
And their orders not turning up on time, or putting in orders saying it was out for delivery and then never turned up. So what that enabled us to do was show sort of what times of the year that was happening, etc., and then look deeper into it. And it was actually their courier service that was letting them down.
Wow.
So their courier service was like, yeah, we're picking it up. We tried to deliver and they weren't in.
Yep.
And so what that did was that made them have to sort of change their courier service. And then we monitored it again. And then you could see that the orders are changing. So you're not getting as many negative comments around the orders now.
Wow.
So obviously, if you're an e-commerce company, the goal is to get your product to the consumer who's bought it.
Yeah, yeah.
So by doing that, you're increasing the customer experience.
Absolutely.
And ensuring that they're getting their orders on time.
Absolutely.
As promised by the courier service.
And what about the people that were looking at the comments? Weren't they, like someone from the company, weren't they reading the comments and saying, there's a lot of comments here just about, you know, service not being optimal or late delivery, et cetera, et cetera? Didn't they know this?
Well, because they get so many, because they're in the thousands.
Right.
So essentially, AI is something that somebody can do by hand, but it's going to take them a bloody long time.
Yeah.
So, like for us, we can do around 22,000 data points in about 5 minutes. So, for somebody to do that by hand, I'm sure you can imagine would take a little bit longer.
Gotcha.
So obviously, they're just sort of scanning the top couple that come through, which are normally quite positive, because it will be engaging about a certain item. So for us, it's enabling us to look through the whole comment section, the whole thread of tweets, or searching under a specific keyword term if it's Twitter or a specific topic. So for us, we're able to sort of go a lot more in depth.
I mean, this is amazing. I mean, this is the whole new frontier. This is like taking social media to the next level.
Yes, that's very much
really phenomenal. When you really start analyzing it at that level and at that depth and at that scale, my Lord, the trends and the behavior and the insights you can get on where to slightly adjust the direction of your business strategy is phenomenal.
Yeah, no, certainly. It is very much giving the advantage to the user that takes it on board now, because to have that advantage over your competitors, because not only can we monitor your threads, we can monitor your competitors.
Yeah.
Because it's all publicly available information. People just tweet openly on open platforms, Facebook, Instagram, etc.
That's a really good point.
So we're able then to sort of pull out their rivals and show them what they're doing well and what they're doing badly. So they can play on what they're doing badly and sort of obviously push up with what they're doing well.
So if someone was about to or thinking about getting into a new marketplace, they might use a tool like this to analyze the status quo of the market in general, and then decide how they can be different and how they can be value add or be slightly, better than the competitors.
Absolutely, and we can do it with geographies as well. So NLP actually, you can train it so that it becomes like Google Translate is getting incredibly accurate, certainly in your French, Spanish, and Portuguese. But we can train the machine to understand maybe more complex languages or different to Greek-based languages. So looking at sort of your the Southeast Asian market, your sort of Malay or Bahasa or even Mandarin, we can use it to be able to translate. So that then you can get your brand message across in the native language too.
Phenomenal. That's crazy. Wow. I mean, and is it easy to do that across all the platforms we have available, or does it work better with some platforms more so than others? Or?
No, because of the way that we extract the information and the data, which is all publicly available. And certainly across those main social platforms, so like your Facebook, your Twitter, and your Instagram, those sort of main social platforms, and then Reddit as an example of a forum. It's all pretty. It all takes the same amount of effort to extract. So it doesn't matter what platform you're advertising on.
Wow.
We can extract it, and we can do the same for the media. So we can find out journalists that are a bit more receptive to you compared to those who may have a bit of a negative opinion by going back through all their work and extracting the sentiment of the language that they've written in their articles.
Okay. And so now it sounds like it's really analyzing the text. So what about video or voice or things like that?
Yes. So video and voice is it's a little bit more complex, but it's essentially the same. It's essentially the same theory. Voice, like we all learned in maybe the start of high school. You know, it's just voice. It's just waves like that.
And,
yes. Yeah. And you can just break those down into a series of zeros and ones.
Wow.
And the same with recognizing the face and video. It's the same process. It's just a series of zeros and ones. We're actually in the process at the moment of digging deeper into video analysis and being able to pull out certain features, which is something going on in the R&D team. And we're hoping to launch that in the middle of next year. So that'll be something pretty exciting.
This is scary.
Yeah, well, it's just like so when Facebook now suggests you to tag someone based on your face, it's because they've taken in your key features. So your eyes and your nose and your mouth is just a series of zeros and ones in Facebook's database. So that's how it manages to understand who that person is.
Wow. That's crazy. And I mean, and how does it, like, how do you engage with your clients? How does it actually work? How does the service work?
Yeah, so very much we go out to them to pitch them, and then they come to us, or we sit down and have a discovery meeting.
Yep.
And then we sort of find out what they're looking to work on, what they're trying to get out of the campaign. Okay. So, for example, with the e-commerce brand that we spoke about, very much for them it was understanding the comments and what people were saying about them. Yeah. And they were actually looking at sort of their products initially and the specific items of clothing that they sell. And then through that, we found out sort of that their main problem wasn't, the feedback they were getting on their products, because the majority of it was pretty positive. Yeah. It was the fact that they had this huge backlog of their orders not working properly, of their courier not delivering, etc. So yeah, it's sometimes, we can go with the view of finding out if certain dresses are the right fit or tops, etc. Yeah. But then we'll end up finding out so much more on a completely different subject.
Yeah, you might find, the actual material is hyperallergenic or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Totally
absolutely.
Different. Yeah.
Yes.
Isn't that fascinating? And I mean, is it very cost effective, or is this more for big companies that have big marketing budgets, or can anybody use this tool?
No, absolutely. Anybody can use this. And before we were all in lockdown, it was incredibly useful for restaurants or for pubs and bars, because we can do exactly the same thing with Google reviews or TripAdvisor or Trustpilot.
Right.
So we can find out how people feel towards that chain of bars or that chain of restaurants, and at specific locations.
This is crazy. I mean, this is actually quite, this blows my mind. I mean, to know that we're at that level of analysis in terms of behavior, there's no end to what people can find out in the future. It's just going to get more and more sophisticated.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's so much information out there, and sort of if you're going to complain to your Wi-Fi company about poor service, where do you go? You go to Twitter and you write a rant.
Yeah, exactly.
And you tag them in, or you try and get in touch with customer service that way. And there's so many that the majority of large sort of e-commerce companies, or even small e-commerce companies, their first point of call now is having customer service Twitter page, where people go and tweet them and say, we'll try and get back to you in this time, because Twitter is cheaper than having a call center.
I mean, nobody can say anymore that social media is irrelevant. When you hear this, forget about it. This is the new frontier, and it's only beginning.
Yes.
I mean,
yes,
it's
certainly.
Crazy when you think about it. My God.
And those early adopters, like with any tech, will have the most advantage and the biggest benefit.
Awesome. Wow. And so are you working mainly in the UK at the moment, or you're working globally as well?
So we're a Canadian-based company.
Oh, really?
Yes, yes. I'm the only one in the UK. Yeah,
Oh,
the only one in the UK. But
wow.
yes, we have clients worldwide. So we worked with the tourism board of the Maldives,
Oh, wow.
I believe. Yeah, the tourism board of the Maldives, just before, so earlier last year. And because obviously they have a huge amount of reviews.
Yeah.
And there's a huge amount of data out there for them. And then we've got clients in both parts of North America, so Canada and the US, and then over here as well.
Right, so everywhere. And
Yeah.
I suppose it'll kind of replace surveys in a way, because like I'm going crazy every time I do anything. People say, "I stay on the line," and we've got a 3 or 4 part survey, and I've got to wait and press the buttons from rank people from 0 to 5 and all this nonsense. So in a way, it just takes that all off the table, and the AI will be able to just analyze everything anyway without all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So sometimes the way that I see it is we're essentially the world's biggest polling company.
Yeah.
Because we can take any topic that's spoken about, we can take how people feel about it and then translate it, rather than using a polling company that has 1,000 to 10,000 of the same people all the time. Well, what's Facebook got? Facebook's got 2.3 billion users or something.
That's right. It's like the third or fourth biggest country in the world or something like that.
Yes, exactly. So why not go and poll them by taking out exactly what they're saying? And lots of polling companies, people will just fill out brands that they might use when you fill out those forms.
Yeah.
While what we do is we take data from people who are using those brands because they're commenting and engaging about them.
Yeah.
So those are your users.
Wow.
So for us and for our clients, it's very much, look, we're polling your ideal client base. And like I said about competitors earlier, you're polling your competitors' clients as well.
That's the most amazing thing. It's that you don't have to just wait for your own activity to be solid enough for you to analyze it. You can analyze the market before you even start, because you can analyze everybody else's data. I mean, that's so powerful.
Yes, absolutely. And just, it's being able to sort of just know what people want and what people's issues are. And once you know what people's issues are, you can solve the problem. So we did some work with a broadcaster in the US around sort of PR crisis management, because one of their anchors compared the BLM movement and things that happen in the stock market, and obviously that sort of created a wave of negative responses because of sort of being insensitive. But it works with PR crisis management, like I said earlier, 20,000 data points in 5 minutes. So to be able to analyze that so quickly means that our clients that use the crisis management side are able to react a lot quicker than going down and putting together they might say this, they might say that. Well, here's what the people are saying. Here are the main rebuttals. And if you can talk and answer your customers or your viewers' problems during an interview, then you're going to get them back on side.
My God. And I mean, obviously, if that's where the technology is now, where is the company striving to take the technology to as the next phase?
So, like I said earlier, we're working currently a lot more on sort of the video side of the work that we do. Video and voice. And then we're just looking to expand into new markets. So hopefully South America, Southeast Asia would be great as well. So I believe it's Malaysia. When you buy a phone in Malaysia, the guy in the kiosk will automatically install Facebook on your phone. And that's sort of like their main contact is through Facebook. Everything that they do is on Facebook. So they don't really have, they have phone numbers, but everybody just texts through Facebook Messenger.
Isn't that amazing? Wow. Facebook, huh? That's sensational.
Yeah. So that's kind of our view is if we can break into those emerging frontier markets, then that'd be, yeah, that's kind of our goal in the next year or two.
Oh, wow. Man, that's phenomenal. Well done. Well, that's quite amazing when you think about it. Like
Yeah.
that just blows my mind. That takes everything, we do day to day with social media in how we analyze to the next level. Because our biggest issue with social media is we always say it's very hard to measure, and marketing departments always say, show me the proof. It's very hard to measure, but we know that it has to be done. And we know that we get results using a social media strategy, whether it's organic or paid, but we don't always know exactly where our spend, is coming, is making the best return on investment. It's something that we have to do. But now with this, we can pinpoint exactly what's happening. And we know that let's stop doing that. Let's do more of that. Let's do that. Let's change this. It's like precise, all because of AI and machine learning.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. It really does sort of, and it allows, by understanding the comments and understanding the sentiment, it can allow you to change tact during the campaign.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can review very quickly sort of the way that your campaign is going.
Yep.
And the way that you're engaging with your clients and how they're engaging with you. So you can adapt and change with what they're saying.
Yeah, and particularly with like split testing, a lot of companies do a lot of split testing of campaigns over a period of time to see which one works better. But that's very expensive. So if you can have a way to analyze the results quickly, you can have a much better return on investment of the money you do spend.
Yes, certainly. And it's much more time rich as well.
Yeah.
It definitely sort of saves time being able to adapt so quickly. And also, like I referred to earlier, sort of being able to, by extracting the words and the language that people are using, you can use much more appropriate keywords that people are searching.
Wow.
And much more appropriate keywords to be able to target people, which I guess when everybody uses Google Ads now, everybody uses Facebook ads, being able to use distinctive keywords is certainly a way to get a better ROI from a campaign.
Oh, definitely. Absolutely. But this is just a bit of a, what's the word? It's a very expansive question, but what happens when everybody starts using this technology and it's also scientific?
Mm-hmm.
How does somebody really start being how does someone really start being different or being better than someone else or having a point of difference if we're all just going to be relying on the science to tell us what words to use, what copy to use, where to post, how to post, what's the audience, et cetera, et cetera? Or is it just purely going to be scientific?
No, there's always going to be room for creatives. There's people locked away in ad agencies scribbling away all day. Yeah. There's always going to be room for creatives. And at the end of the day, you still need creatives to write the copy. You still need creatives to think about the ads, to think about the storyboard for a video. This is just a way of enhancing that, and enhancing the copy that they write, and it's just utilizing what's already there. It's utilizing something that people know that's there. They know that there's comments, but it's enabling them to empower their company to resonate better with their consumer. And obviously, with the rise of the likes of e-commerce and maybe the decline of high street retail, certainly with the big chains, and certainly in the UK, there's an awful lot of sort of high street closing. Being able to communicate with your consumer who's purely online is hugely important. So being able to understand those comment sections, being able to understand the language and the wording used in those comment sections is hugely important.
Wow, man, that's fantastic. We always say that social media and digital is a combination between science and art, and this just takes that to the next level. Really.
Yes, certainly. Fueling those creatives and those ad agencies.
Yeah, absolutely. Well done. Well, Tom, that's sensational. It just blows my mind, Who knows what's going to be next?
Yeah.
Wow. But so tell us a bit about how we can find you and how we can work with you, for everybody, for all the audience out there, if they want to start talking about your technology.
Yeah, absolutely. Talkative.com, and that's talk AITIVE.
Yep.
Very intuitive. So talkative.com. We're on LinkedIn. Once again, talkative, talk AI Tiv. And yeah, you can find us that way. And yeah.
Nice. And people can contact you directly on LinkedIn if they need to?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm Tom Griffiths. My email is tom@talkative.com. And
Okay.
more than happy to have a conversation.
Well done. Well, Tom, it's been an absolute pleasure. I mean, you've totally just blown my mind. To know where this is going is just phenomenal. I mean, you know, it just shows me how important it is to really get serious with social media and digital. And now there's even a way to start measuring it to the nth degree using machine learning, which will really give us a better return on investment of what we're doing and allow us to develop a strategy that really works. So there's no going back now. It's only going forward. And it's just about how fast and how we start to develop even further.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Darren.
Well, thanks so much for coming on the show. Really appreciate it. And I'll put all the links and all your email addresses and the LinkedIn links and everything in the show notes. Anything else you want to leave us with before you go?
That's a good question. Read your comment.
I love it. Read the comments. Well done. I love it. Well done. Well, mate, thank you so much. And hopefully you have a fantastic day ahead of you in the UK. And I'm going to sign off now. It's Monday night, 8:45. Time for a glass of wine and take a load off. But everybody out there, hope you had a fantastic show. I certainly did. Fascinating stuff. And feel free to jump on and learn more about Tom and talkAItive and see how they can help you with your social media strategy. So everybody, thanks again. Bye for now. Tom, all the best, my man.
Cheers, Aaron.
Cheers.